Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. DAZN, as you may well know, have increased their monthly subscription from $7.99 to $19.99. Now, this is if you're paying month by month, but it doesn't tell the whole story because they have alternative options. One of which is if you sign up, essentially it's a contract for 12 months. You're paying $9.99, so that's an increase from $7.99 to £2 per month. And if you sign up for the whole year, well, actually, if you sign up for the whole year and you pay up front, it's only £100, which is less than a tenner a month. So these are all price increases. The two contractual ones, it's an increase of either £2 or less than £2. The big wallop, if you like, is the increase from $7.99 to $19.99. You know, if you pay month by month. Now, I can only assume that this is because they got too many people going, yeah, I like that month. I'll pay my subscription for that month. But then when there's a dead month or one that's not so good, people are saying, okay, I'll cancel and I'll rejoin when there's a good month coming up. So they're trying to cut that out, and they're trying to lock people into contracts, obviously. Now, this is inevitable because DAZN's losing money, has been losing money hand over fist. It's lost I can't remember the exact figures. I did a video on this before. I think it was they've lost about £3 billion over the last 4 years, £5 billion, a lot. We're talking billions anyway. This is worldwide. This is not just the UK. And I'm a DAZN subscriber. $7.99 always seemed reasonable to me. Initially, of course, it was $1.99. That was never going to last. But this increase to $19.99 is obviously a piss take. I mean, that's just terrible. That's appalling. But if you're interested and you pay, you know, a ton up front for 12 months, less than a tenner a month, all right, you know, it's not bad. And the question is, you know, what are you getting for your money? Because I've heard some people say, oh, DAZN's crap. It's, you know, no, it's not. It's really not. The quality, the content is pretty good. I mean, coming up, we've got Lee Wood, Maurizio Lara. That's on February the 18th. We've got, what else have we got? Joe Cordina and Rakimov. I think that's in April. Mando Serrano, Katie Taylor 2 is in May. You got Callum Smith's fighting, Bam Rodriguez. And look, the halcyon days of Matchroom at Sky have gone, okay? People didn't know they never had it so good as those days of, you know, 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And people would moan then. I can only assume these are people who just, well, obviously a lot of them are too young to remember. Like, if you're my age, you know, frequently there was hardly any boxing on TV. If you didn't catch it on Sky, you'd have to sort of go to the back of Boxing News, find a guy who was selling VHS tapes, and then order the fights on a 3-hour, 4-hour tape and watch them way after the fact. I mean, there is so much boxing on TV, and has been for years, that people have become spoiled. Now, I don't particularly, in fact, I don't like Eddie Hearn. I've never had a good feeling about Eddie Hearn. I've always thought all this, you know, corporate patter, it definitely smacks of someone who did start his career as he said he did, as a double glazing salesman, cold calling pensioners and flogging them windows they don't want for astronomical amounts of money. I've always thought I'm always suspicious of anyone who where the bottom line is the dollar or the pound. I'm always suspicious of anyone who wants to be everybody's mate. And I've always been extremely skeptical of anyone who has got the, you know, the silver tongue, the gift of the gab, the patter, if you like. He is essentially a wide boy. If you're too young to know what a wide boy is, Google it, okay? Older members of the boxing community will remember a show called Minder, where there was a character on that called Arthur Daly. They probably rerun. I mean, I haven't got a television set. I haven't had a telly for years, but there's so many channels now. You'll probably find Minder on one of those channels and check it out, because Arthur Daly is, you know, Eddie Hearn in 20 years. He's a less charismatic Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn is a wide boy. there's no difference between him and someone like Stan Flashman, who was a ticket tout in the 70s. So no, I don't trust Eddie Hearn. In fact, I think he showed his real colours during the whole Conor Benn farce, which has been a PR disaster for Ben. And the amount of crap that Hearn has talked, I mean, talk about obscurantist drivel, coming out of his mouth. And this 270-page report that we're all supposed to regard as being a proof of Conor Benn being innocent. I mean, I've done so many videos on this subject, but it still infuriates me. I might even do another one. So no, I don't like Hearn. But I don't care about Eddie Hearn. I don't care about any promoter. I don't care about Golden Boy. They're the other DAZN promoter. What I care about is the concept of a Netflix for boxing. I want it to work, because I do think that even though DAZN have gone into the pay-per-view market, that it could severely undermine that whole model, which I've always hated pay-per-view. I never buy pay-per-views. And replace it with a Netflix for boxing, with something which is more affordable. Okay, and the quality of the DAZN cards, even though Hearn, as the primary UK promoter for DAZN, has clearly spread himself too thin by having shows in US, Mexico, Spain, and Italy a few years back, and Canada. Did he do Canada? Did he do Canadian one? I don't know. Look, his UK stable has suffered quite badly, and clearly he's dropped down notches from when he was with Sky. They've got a next gen show coming up. I think it's Cyrus Patterson and Chris Jenkins are on it. I think I might have that wrong actually, but they used to have next gen cards, every month, didn't they? Well, every other month certainly. I went to a few of them, and now they barely have any. I think apart from this one that's coming up. Hearn has lost control of the heavyweight division with Joshua's defeat. He slipped. But this was, when moving over to DAZN, if Hearn thought that by being given this war chest of £1 billion or whatever it was, to work the sort of magic he worked at Sky, if he thought the success at Sky, all those sort of wonderful halcyon days of, great boxing every week, which people still complain about sometimes, if he thought those were going to be replicated at DAZN, clearly he didn't realise the impact that Sky itself had. He had the ideal platform, and if Hearn thought he could just waltz into anywhere else, DAZN included, which is a new concept, a streaming service of boxing, and just replicate that, then clearly arrogance and ego got the better of him, as it often does with people like Eddie Hearn. So I don't... But I don't really care about Hearn. I want DAZN to succeed. So this is purely what I would do. This I'm not telling you what to do. You spend your money how you want to spend it. I mean, I haven't bought a pay-per-view since 1996 or 7 or whatever it was. Some of you do. That's your money. But I would probably go for put down a ton for 12 months. I'll probably say here's £100, and I'll give it a year, because I want DAZN to succeed. If it was down to the $19.99 per month, stream team all the way. I mean, absolutely not. Even the $9.99 a month, up from $7.99, it's not astronomically bad, but it's still not very good. But no, £100 for 12 months, less than a tenner a month. All right, I can live with that, because I do want to support this format, this platform. And I'm no capitalist by any stretch of the imagination, but if you are a capitalist, you must surely concede that you need competition for capitalism to work. And we live in a capitalist world, and for the most part, so that's the way it is. That's the way it has to be. So, yeah, no one's happy about price hikes. Don't forget we've got the cost of living crisis, and you've got, was it Esso making 32 billion in profit, and gas prices, electricity prices are through the roof. We've got, go to any supermarket and you would have noticed the way that food has shot up in cost. Shot up. It's appalling, really. And that's a rant for another time probably, but But of course, what it means is people have got less so-called disposable income. I hate that phrase, disposable income. Like, you know, disposable money. There's no, the money is not disposable if you have to earn it. Even if you're stealing it, it's, you know what I mean? It's not disposable. You don't roll up a £20 light your cigarette with it, you know. But entertainment income, we'll call it. There's less of it. So DAZN clearly want you to commit to their channel. It's a calculated gamble on their behalf. I'll probably go for the £100 for 12 months. But what are you going to do? Leave your comments below. I'm really interested to see what you feel about DAZN as a format. What do you think of the content? You know, to me, I'm a boxing fan. It doesn't have to be from the UK. I definitely think, as I said before, Hearn and Matchroom have slipped badly. But I like watching Bam Rodriguez, for example. I like watching a lot of these undercard fights. I make videos on fighters on undercards, and some of these videos get, you know, 40 or 50 views. But I still do them because I like doing it. And there are fights out there. Joshua Franklin is another one, of course. It's not going to be on pay-per-view, so you get that as well. For a year, yeah, I'll give it a year. But what do you think? Give me your opinion. I'm really eager to hear it. And yeah, as always, thank you for supporting this channel. If you're new, you could subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Just hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Like the video as well. That helps us out a big deal. And I'm looking forward to reading your comments. All right, take care. Speak soon. Bye now.